Yeah. So a quick recap. For folks just joining us. Um, Earlier we had a brief introduction into belt. And what belt is. Once again, belt is an um opinionated CLI tool for setting up reactive projects. And helps you take away the dependency problems. And lets you focus on like building a UI. So right now we want to look into belts deeper. Um, we want to review the issues of belts and what we have planned out for belts. Um, and take a step into perhaps contributing into belts, resolving some issues on belts GitHub page. Earlier we discussed why we endorse the libraries and packages that Belt uses. So right now we're going to be looking into Belt more closely. Once again, with me here is Rakesh, and I am Tomi, and we're both developers at thoughtbot. Uh, Welcome once again. Yeah. So um, I'm going to. We were going through belts. And
Tommy, it shows B back in 5 in the bottom. I wonder how we can remove that.
I'm going to remove that, but yeah, we
Nice.
are back now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So we earlier, like I said, reviewed belts. Now we want to look at the issues. In fact, I would say that along the call we've identified some things and gotten feedback in terms of making belts more flexible in what opinions it uses. Um, but now we want to look at the issues on belt and want to pick up one issue to sort of like introduce you folks into contributing to belts. And here we have 5 open issues. Um, yeah, I remember when we got this issue to support the standard Redux. Um, uh, just only talks into the fact, of we have like new state management libraries with growing popularity, and it's like interesting to see like this. Oh, like, and we also have others about like mainstream tooling and thereabouts. But I think it's going to be nice to sort of set up with something very simple, and I think this qualifies for it. Rakesh, do you share the same thoughts?
Yeah. So I feel like this could be considered something simple
Mm-hmm.
and it will get us familiarized with the built code base and how to do things. I was going to say that let's choose this as an issue that we want to work on uh, today. And if you are able to succeed and get it done, like we can move on to a different issue.
Yeah, yeah, I share that. And yeah, first of all, I'd like to. This is Diego. Diego is um one of our colleagues at Thoughtbot, and also a major contributor to Belt. And I think this would work well for a first issue to contribute to. All right. So um let us uh, dive right into it, right?
Sounds good. Let's do that. I thought maybe we can go through the list of issues, probably read each of them and try to find out what we may want to do about it in the future, even though we may not be able to do that today.
Sure.
And then move on to one of the issues, which is the one which you chose. Sounds like a good one to work on.
Sounds. I think yeah, that would be a good point. Yeah, yeah. So the first one is to support such stand over Redux. And this issue is about letting belt be flexible enough to be able to support like such stand. Um, yeah, and Diego already did like respond to this. Once again, Diego is one of our colleagues and a major contributor to to belt. Um, and Zustand were not like in the scope of setting of like belt features at the initial stage. And it's something we'd want to bring up as a enhancement in the future. And that's why we already created an issue for that to look into that so that belt can support such stand. And we also perhaps dropped a video which is a popular video on such stand. I'm not sure Rakesh knows about this video. It's from a popular streamer. Um, it's um, he's a popular like YouTube streamer. Uh,
Okay. I'm not aware of. I have not checked that video yet,
yeah,
but I'll probably check that at some point. Let me see what video that is.
yeah. You could-
Support the standover Redux. I see. Theo. Yeah,
you.
I'm very much. I follow Theo's opinions, but always you need to be restrictive and choose wisely. Not all opinions are great. So yeah, in general, I like some of the opinions. Is
Yeah,
a good way to put that.
yeah, they are really very spicy sometimes, and I guess we all have different accommodation for spice levels. Yeah. Now this is about supporting mainstream tooling. Um, to make this product competitive with others such as ShipRN, it would be awesome if it supported other tooling such as Clerk and or Superbase or Firebase. I'm not sure I'm familiar with ShipRN. Are you familiar with this?
I am not familiar with Ship RN at all.
Yeah.
To make this product competitive with others, such as, should we just check out?
Oh, like yeah.
Is your keyboard okay, or do
Yeah,
you?
it's okay right now.
uh,
It freezes up when I share like the whole screen. Um, I cannot. I don't see anything about ShipRN. Is this what I think it is? React Native. Perhaps it's my.
I still see your GitHub issue screen.
Oh, yeah. So I've been looking for anything about ShipRN up on Google. Um. I
Yeah, I don't find anything either. So we can probably ask a question back on
yeah.
what's Shiparen.
Yeah. I think we could ask a question on what ShipRN is. Um.
Oh, this also seems to be from the same user or the same developer, downright development. Nice. And the other point seems to be somewhat valid. The other point was if Belt supported tooling such as Clerk
Mm-hmm.
or Supabase/Firebase. I think Diego responded well. We already support Firebase, or we provide a way for Belt to directly set up Firebase and the push notifications system using Firebase.
Mm-hmm.
But Supabase, I'm not really so sure about this. Yeah, this is where we may want to discuss and find out if Supabase is a choice for building using React Native slash Expo or not. And I thought Clerk was an authentication system. Are you familiar with Clerk?
I'm not familiar with Clerk. No.
I think it's a way to authenticate users. Yeah, I'm not familiar as well, but these are good points. Like we may want to consider how we would want to authenticate users, and if there's a standard way to do it, we may probably want to integrate into Belt. But these are probably we can separate these into individual issues instead of putting them all together in one issue. But yeah, this is something we can do in the future.
Absolutely. Um, yeah. Moving on. And this was what we identified as a good first issue for us to work on.
Mhm.
And this is about NPX Create Belt app version should display the currently available version of Belt that is going to be used when generating a new app. It should not display all of the Belt's intro content. Verifying the version of Belt will help identify issues when reporting bugs and check on available features on the version. Yep. So
Sounds
this,
good.
yeah, this is more like a sort of like a improvement to bring into Belt.
I
Yeah,
like it. Yeah.
we could add a label to this enhancement. Yeah. And this add prompt for what package manager Belt should use.
I
Yeah,
Oh, we don't have a prompt. It's mostly. Oh, this is also a good point. Oh, you created the issue. Nice.
we did. And this the, the fact that Belt already like helps you use whatever package manager you're comfortable with, but that could be missed out when you're setting up with Belt. So it's going to be helpful to have like a prompt on the command line that
Mm.
allows you to choose what package manager you would like to use.
I like that. Instead of it being,
Yeah,
yeah, this is where we want to identify which ones should be like command line arguments and which ones should be questions.
yeah,
Uh, I do see how it's a bit different from the rest of the options that we support, like integrating TypeScript, integrating React navigation, and so on, because this is like completely outside of the scope of the app. It's kind of what developers use to build build the apps, or it's more developer centric
yeah,
than the product that the user will be building. But I agree, this could be, we can ask a question on build and assign a package manager based on the response.
yeah. And this adds us down for state management using belts. So this came upon a discussion within Diego and I, and we were thinking of having this as sort of like a flag where you could pass in Zustand to your command, and have Zustand be set up instead of um, Redux. It's going to be an interesting thing. Uh, Perhaps I think more questions will be asked about the um, with how Belt composes sort of like the code. By code, I mean how it generates the code. I'm very excited to look into how stuff like this is done.
Yeah, this can also pave way for how we want Belt to handle two different things. Whenever we want to offer choices to developers using Belt, like do you want to use Redux or Zustand, and if the user selects one of them, how can Belt process that information and based on that automatically scaffold the corresponding code for the state management solution. So if you are able to achieve it for one case like this, we can also extend it in the future and do it for say Expo router,
Hmm.
uh, like offering choice and responding based on the choice. So that's something which Belt currently does not have, so it may be useful to build that feature to Belt. um, yeah, I can kind of understand what this issue is about. um, it may be more complicated to do it during a live stream today, but Yeah, we can try to see if we can get to this by today.
Mhm. Um, yeah. And I guess that makes up for all like the issues that is on belts. I think we encourage folks to also join in on like on this. Be feel free to sort of like create your issues. This could be a point where we could get feedback from the maintainers and contributors to belts. Um, Pending perhaps when we are able to sort of like have a place for all um for like a community where we could get direct feedback and also sort of like discuss like the future of belt. All right, so we have identified version this basically to work on. We want to add a version option to create that app command. um I expect this would be simple, but we know development things never work out that way. It could. So I'm going to go right now into VS Code, and we will take a moment to look at the internals of belts and examine how we would walk through um, implementing a solution that fits this.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah. Let's dive right into it. So I'm gonna stop sharing and present.
I can probably join you on a VS Code live share session. Tomi, if you're planning to set that up,
Oh yeah, I'm going
so
to.
that yeah, I can look at the code as well.
Yeah, I am going to quickly set up a live session and bring that to you live. I just realized I probably live share. Um, yep. I guess I could now. I'm going to create a. I'm going to share a link, a read and write link.
Oh, I also noticed we had a second participant comment.
Oh,
I I'm going to attempt to pronounce the name, but I'm not really sure if I'll get it correctly. Is it Adi Soji?
yeah, that's my brother Adisoji.
Adi Soji Alu.
Yeah, that's actually my brother.
Welcome to the live stream if you're still following us.
Uh, um, so I'm sharing this with you. Um, could you confirm that you received it? So I posted this on the private chat. You could see it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. I received it.
Oh, right.
Um,
So yeah, I present my screen.
I think I joined your live share session now.
Mhm. Okay. So I see that you have joined. That's fantastic. Yeah. So here we.
Tommy, you may want to add your VS Code to the stage. I think I can also do it. I have done it now.
Oh, thank you. Um, yeah. So here we have. I guess um, here is the code base of belts and um, some. First time sort of like insight into what belt is. I see this is sort of, is this like Vitest? Oh, this is for testing. Um, yeah, let's dive into like the source code of what runs behind belts. Um, and for me, for like in my own case, whenever I jump into a JavaScript project like this, I usually do sort of sometimes go take a look at what packages it uses, stuff like that. Um, and yeah, package JSON.
It will be very interesting to look at the packages that Belt uses.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, you can go. I'll go next.
Yeah, I see that it uses expo, config, inquire, prompt, yeah, and thoughtbots sort of like ESLint config. Chalk commander, I'm familiar with commander here. I've worked it with some on some command line applications I
Yeah.
prefer recently.
I think Commander is the main tool that powers the entire CLI.
Yeah.
Commander is an open source library that helps us build CLI tools. And yeah, that's the main tool that's powering Belt. Along with Chalk. Chalk, I think, is used for all the inputs and outputs out of the CLI. Like do you want to build and do you want to set up a new project using Belt? Yes or no? If you select yes, I think like that all the display that you see when you run the CLI, I think it's built using Chalk, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's nice. That looks really cool. Um, so now we want to create a version. We want to create a version flag that you could put into the command line and get the response of what of the current version of belt. So how would we go about that? Mhm.
Good question.
Great question. So um, first off, I think you've helped identify that commander helps us like with the command, and chalk looks to be the inputs that helps us like get input from like standard input from the user, right?
I think so. That is what I believe.
Well, we could look into the code to be the source of truth for us. Um, so here we have run CLI, which comes from run CLI, and from the first look at this, this looks like and like we already identified, here is commander. I think to remove these red scribbles, I'm going to quickly run the install command. This uses Vitest.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I have Vitest installed. I think I should be able to use that with
Shall
ESDN.
we do something, Tommy? Before we start,
All right.
shall we do what we normally do for any repos that's kind of new? Go through the README and find out what's written there.
Oh yeah. I yeah. So this is the introduction into builds like we've done, and we see what's like um what gets configured when you use belts in your app.
Mhm.
Um and here it talks about the usage of belts. We a recap we already did that earlier.
We already covered that. Yeah.
Yeah, we covered that earlier. Oh yeah. And here we have a contributing document that gives us info on what to look forward to when you're contributing to yeah. Um, this should take us to contributing MD. It's great to establish a code of conduct um, by which we abide with. We want to establish that we like that everyone should abide by Thoughtbot's code of conduct. I will drop a link of to this in the chat. Oh, yeah. Rakesh, could you help with that? Hi Rakesh, I'm not sure I got. Oh yeah, I can see you. Yeah.
Sorry, I was on mute. Do you want me to paste it in the chat?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah.
And yeah, so now that we've established that, um, we would like everyone to follow the code of conduct in any way in thoughtbot's product code bases, our issues, chat rooms, and mailing lists. Please be kind and be supportive. Now to contribute to the code, you fork the repo and installing the dependencies. Um, right here it says yarn install to install dependencies.
Yeah. It looks like
Mhm,
even though we can use other package managers for the apps that are created using Belt,
mhm.
Belt uses Yarn by default. So
Yeah. So I'm going to run through that to run yarn on locally for that. Yep, I have to use ASDF to install. While that is working through, oh, sweet, fast. I am going to run yarn install again. Yeah. So while that is installing, you to run the dev server during development, you run yarn dev. Interesting. I never thought about it in this way of how like development would work. Um, yes. Now we run yarn dev for during development, and
yeah, this is I can explain what's going on. Tommy, if you want to do so, you can do.
oh no, please go ahead, jump in and.
So this is like when you run yarn dev,
Mhm.
the project builds, the belt gets built using the code base, and you will notice that there is a build directory which should mostly be called build or dev. I don't know what the directory name is, but oh, it's called dist distribution dist.
Yeah.
Inside the dist directory, belt gets built, and this whole thing happens in the watch mode. We use a library called tsup for that. There's a configuration and everything. So any code change that we make will result in continuous builds being built in the dist directory. So
Yeah.
all we need to do is somehow find a way to use the code that gets built in the dist directory and create our new project. Like when we want to test things, or when we want to test belt, we should be using the project that is built in the dist directory.
Oh, oh, understood. Oh yeah,
And most likely the dist index.js is the file that we want to run.
nice. And it says to test the changes locally, we would run yarn build and to run this.
I think yarn dev automatically does this. So if we are not doing yarn dev, and if we just want to use the code base to build the project, we want to we will ideally run yarn build command. But in development mode, as we are continuously making code changes, yarn dev in turn runs yarn build as well in watch mode. And this will become clear if you just open package.json temporarily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is yeah.
You will notice that the dev command runs tsup in watch mode, and there's also a build command. Is there a build command? Yeah, that just runs it once, but not in the watch mode. So essentially, both build and dev run the same things. One of them runs it in the watch mode, and the other just runs it once for you.
Oh, I see.
And I think what command exactly runs should be in a config file called tsup
Yeah,
configure. Oh,
yeah.
there's a config. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with TSUP, but it looks like all these things happen when you run it. So there's a clean that happens, minify is set to false, the output directory is set. Uh, there's also an entry file, which is our index.ts file in our project.
Hmm.
And I think it uses all these parameters and generates the final build file. I'm curious to know how TSUP works. I do not know how that works currently, but we know that it functions well on the belt repo.
Great, great. And um, right. So I guess we could, try this out and make something simple and run to test what changes that we make. Yeah, I could see on build here. Yeah. Am I missing anything in on the contribution? Yeah.
Shall we? There's also a test suite. So if we run yarn, I think it will be mentioned somewhere. But if it's not,
Yeah. We could write a test. Is there a way to, like, I think we could write a test for our feature and go the test driven style and write a test for it and then go implement what we want to. Perhaps that would help us understand what we want to do.
I like that idea. Oh, there's a test suite.
Yeah,
Make
that's
sure the tests pass. There's also a test all. So there's like it
yeah,
makes sure the linter, formatter, and everything is correctly set up with our code.
yeah. All right. I think we are at the tests. Um, I'm not sure where would looking for the tests. The CTOs is empty. Am I looking into the right directory?
I think can you open SRC?
Mm-hmm.
You should see a tests directory. I
Yep.
think most of our test. Oh, there's a test util.
Yep.
Is it empty?
Yeah, it is empty.
Hmm. Okay.
That
Can you open commands? Oh yeah, there are tests in each directory. So
yeah,
I think all those tests will run.
yeah. I see. I
Shall we run it once and check
yeah,
if all the tests pass?
sure. Let us go like it says yarn test. Mm, command line for this. Sweet. As fast as possible. That ran very fast. Um yeah. Now we could write a test for our command. I guess the commands, the tests here are basically testing the commands. For example, we have a create app test.
I think create app could be the place where we want this test, but let's see. Let's look at the code and decide.
Yeah. So this test creates app, submitting the app name where appropriate. Prompts for app name if not supply. Exits if directory already exists. Converts directory to camel case and strip special characters. Yep, looks like where it is. But let me explore all the other files. These are for the internals of the app.
This is for the push
Yeah,
notifications.
push notifications and all of that. Package name and border identifier. Yeah, I don't think we want to do that here. This concerns the concerns belt itself. This installs testing library. And this adds TypeScript, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, this is to test that TypeScript is added to the project or not. I feel like create React app is the right place. And if you scroll down, I saw there's this. Oh, um, package manager options.
Yeah,
You
it's just
see how hmm, we are able to write tests that create the app with different package manager options.
mhm.
So we can use a very similar test because the option that we are going to add is a hyphen version,
Yeah,
and I believe we can choose package manager as well with an additional argument to belt. Is that correct? Isn't that how we choose the package manager?
yeah. You pass in an additional flag, and that uses the flag to run belt.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So how do we write this test? Let's open a describe block.
yeah,
Um,
um, let us open it. Yeah, describe. Let's describe.
um, I would probably do it in line 101. I don't know, just to keep the test together because this function looks like a dependency for a test.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that would be an ideal place.
yeah. So we want say um command line options. Command options. I guess we could find the right place to put this in because I would expect I would perhaps suggest check if there are any other command line option tests.
Shall we check the command line options that are provided by Belt by trying a hyphen help?
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. This will be
I'm sorry that I have a bit of a cough.
yeah. I think I um so that'll be hyphen help.
Let's try.
Yep.
Ah, nice. So the only options available are help and nothing more than that. And
Yeah.
I think this is where we want to add a new option.
Hmm.
So I wonder how help works currently. I believe help is automated by commander library. That the commander library would automatically be able to do it. So should we check if commander has an option to show version?
Great point.
So if there is an option, we don't want to write code that returns things. We can use the option from the library.
Yeah. So I guess we have to look into commander.
Is it commander JS or commander?
I could get that info from the package that Jason. Where are you? Package. So we have commander. Yeah,
Yeah, I think if we put commander JS, we may be able to get that repo.
yeah,
Oh, nice, you got it.
yeah. Commander JS, and we want to see.
Oh, version option. Ha! I saw it. There's a version option.
There's a version option.
Yeah. It was available in the list of links.
Oh, I see. Oh, I missed that. Oh yeah.
So the optional version method adds handling for displaying the command version.
Hmm.
Mostly this we may be able to solve this pretty easily then.
Yeah.
The default option flags are -v and -hyphen version. I think I like the default options. That's pretty common for most CLI. And when present, the command prints the version number and exits. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Should
Uh,
we try this on build and see what happens? I
yeah.
believe Commander will do something on its own.
Exactly. Yeah. I was going to say that. That's V. Yeah.
It didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. So we have some work to do then.
Yeah. So if we went to um, I guess I guess we need to continue with our test.
Sure. Okay.
Command options, and it tests that we it tests um, it should I say expects a version number.
No, we can probably say it returns a
No,
version number.
returns. Yeah, returns it right. Returns version number. That is what. Um, and let's put in a function, and yeah, what interface would be returning that? What interface would return that? Um, what interface? Well, okay, we're going to be calling a command for this, and that command is going to return the number. Looking at from what other tests have done, for example, there is
So
a
that is a mock.
yeah,
Let's use it if needed, but otherwise we don't want to use that.
so it
I
says
think create app is the function that we want to call.
a brief look into what it is. Yeah, and yeah, this is basically what would receive the function. So create app, but it receives certain arguments.
I think that argument can be undefined if I remember right. The name of the app can be a string or undefined.
All
We
right.
can maybe verify that.
So await create app. Hmm,
Yeah, it can be undefined. So ideally we want it to
see,
return the version number.
yeah, version. Um, let's see, version. Oh, yeah, yeah. Great type. Um, type checking
Love
is
TypeScript for
yeah.
catching all these things. So, okay, in this case, it looks like we are passing an argument, an option called version.
Hmm. We want to we expect that. Also, this is just basically going to be us testing. This is just
Uh, so I think what we want to do is we want to find out if we are testing the output of the CLI somewhere already. Like for example, remember how as soon as you initiate the command to run the CLI, it says welcome to belt or whatever, and it shows a list of options. Like I wonder if we are testing that somewhere. So if we try to search for those strings that appear in the CLI
yeah.
and find if there's a corresponding test, that will be a good starting point for us.
What are those strings? I think I should.
Can
Um,
you open your terminal? Just
yeah.
a minute. For example, so as soon as you run the command, it shows perform project setup and redundant tasks. So let's search for that string in the code base
Yeah. Yes.
and see if there's a test. Maybe just the first line.
Okay. Oh, why? Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's only printed here. Oh, there's a print welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And remember how I said chalk is being used, so I can see
Yeah,
chalk here already.
it's like styling the commands or something like that.
And can we find where this print welcome is used?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have a test here.
Oh, we have a test. Okay.
It's used in welcome print welcome.test.ts. Um, and it tests doesn't error but just calls a function.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. I think that test mostly just verifies if that function is called successfully or not without any errors. So I don't see how that's going to be useful for us.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
No, there's the I think so. Like in my own like train of thoughts, we want to pass stuff into Commander. Does Commander give us a response like, hey, here is the output? So like we're putting an input, we're putting stuff into an input. We want to test the output of that process. So like for example, here we have create app, which is sort of like us putting on an input.
Mhm.
We would want to expect a response somewhere, but that's what we don't know. We don't know what to expect. Like,
Okay, let's look at what create app does
mhm.
and find out what it usually returns.
Yeah, exactly. Great.
Let's read or go through create app. So
Yeah,
it takes two arguments.
a
One is
name.
the name and the other is like some options. The name is usually the name of the project,
Mm-hmm.
and it does a bunch of things. It creates a directory, copies some templates.
And it executes some Linux commands.
Yeah,
Uh,
to create a directory, new project directory.
yeah,
And copy template directory is what we use to copy our code.
yeah,
So we copy the project code
yeah.
corresponding to some of the libraries that we support, like TypeScript, React Navigation, the push notifications, and so on. So we copy the code from the CLI project to the actual Expo project. So this copy template directory copies directories from from the source to the destination.
Mm-hmm. And so spinner, copy spinner, and
And after that it installs the dependencies. So it's a way in which the project is set up when we run the CLI.
mm-hmm.
So, and then there's a catch exception at the end. Okay, so this doesn't return anything, so it just executes some commands
Mm-hmm.
and does a commit git commit in the end.
Uh, so I think it's been nice to see the print intro because what we want to achieve is some stops of printing.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So this just calls print. Um, yeah, this basically just prints. Um, I want does print get tested somewhere? I'm going to
That's a
find.
good question. Yeah, let's see.
We have just one reference of it. Um, so, but it doesn't look like this is. So I'm going to what I want the question that I want to ask right now is this print. Where does it come from? It comes from YouTube. Also, like it prints to a standard output, and that output dumps it on the command line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it prints the standard output and output. In a way, since we have identified like the interface that returns like the version number. For example, what we want to do basically is say commander receive this command and return with this response.
Yeah. So let's try to find the starting point
Mm-hmm.
where we don't want we don't want to call this entire create app when we run version, because we
Mm-hmm.
don't want to actually create app. So at some point we want to split this command into two. Like if it's only supposed to display version, we skip everything and just display the version. So I'm trying to see what's the ideal place where we can split the functionality.
So
Is it
I'm
CLI or
so exactly. So I think I first of all I need to understand like the entry points of the app and like okay, what does it do? Say for example, this is we identified that run CLI is what is being called, right?
yeah, run CLI is what's being called.
And this program from commander checks name, belt, description. What basically calls run CLI? Yeah,
Let's find out.
yeah.
Oh, this is like
This is
the
at
index. Yeah.
this is at the index. So does it mean that is this possibly stuff where we would have another like maybe like run version CLI where like
No, I don't think should have that. The reason being,
mhm.
run CLI. It's like we only have one command that powers the entire CLI. So we should not be changing or adding one more CLI. It should be the same CLI.
Okay,
But
okay, so this is what I'm saying. Uh, Looking at this, um, it sets the name of the command. So when we do stuff like npx create build app, npx create build app, what actually happens basically?
I think this program, this run CLI function gets called,
Okay,
and this run CLI is divided into different programs, and each program runs.
so
So program is kind of like a sub of
routine.
CLI split into multiple programs.
Oh, okay. So basically, for us to achieve what we want to achieve, we would have like a different program. I don't mean to like create a new CLI. So what I mean is that
I like it.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I guess it means that we possibly would have our own sort of program here. And say, for example, this is just for example's sake, program, and you see dot command, and I think we saw right here version. Oh, we could just directly call version from program.
yeah. It's that simple. The only thing is the code that you're adding currently, it will execute. There's no harm in adding that. Let's try
Yeah,
to add that and see what happens. Let's
yeah,
try to add that one line.
yeah, that's version.
I think the tests are going to be much harder for this than the actual functionality. So
Yeah,
it's really okay to test it first, and then I mean test if the version returns, and then work on the actual tests.
yeah. And even if it is sort of like feasible to test that. So I'm going to so yeah, I have to run yarn.
It should automatically build as
Yeah,
soon as you save.
I think it did that. So how do I test that? Going back to contribution. So to test that command, I would um this is already run, right? Because of the TS is running. Um,
Yeah,
um, then node bin belt.js with
I see. Okay.
could
So I
Do we
think you
have?
can run that command.
I could run this command.
Yeah, node bin slash belt.js
Okay.
followed by. I mean, the app name is not mandatory, so we don't need to pass it.
Okay. How do we pass in the variable? By I mean, what I mean is the flag, the dash v, for example.
Oh, that's a good question.
Does it does it work this way? Nope.
But
It says ensure you've built the app with yarn dev or yarn build first.
we did that. Okay, let's do something. Probably you can stop your watch server
Mm-hmm.
and run yarn build, but it should do the same thing. So I don't see any difference.
Mm-hmm.
Can you try without hyphen v and put an app name instead? Because I have a feeling it's failing because of that.
App, right?
That should be okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now things are working well. So we are able to talk to the local belt
Mm-hmm.
CLI. You can select no.
Yeah. So what we want to do is be able to pass that dash v to it and get a response.
Yeah.
So how does it accept? So belt.js is what we want to test. How does it take an argument? How does it recognize an argument?
Shall we open bin belt.js and see what's there in
Yeah.
that?
Uh, mm, yeah. Oh, this is not even generated, right? This.
This is not generated. The generated ones are in the dist folder.
Oh, I see. Oh, I get now. I guess we have to. Um. Yeah, I see. Just execute the CLI.
There's someone at my door, but it will be taken care.
Yeah. Um. Looking at this and understanding this run, and yeah, this is run by default, and it makes directory synchronous, and it gets the argument from that. This is like it gets the third argument. It processes. It expects. So it always expects stuff like this.
Right.
This is where we have to sort of introduce our conditional logic, sort of whatever, and then camel case. Yeah, it sort of processes the app name, and if all of this is true, it runs a synchronous function for script. Secretly removes files and directories. Standard POSIX. Yeah, it removes directory, and yeah, changes the current working directory. Basically, does stuff.
Yeah, it tries to process
Mhm.
whatever whatever we have typed in the command line
Yeah,
and extracts the app name out of it.
yeah.
I
So,
think this belt.js is a way to test the
mhm.
local CLI. It's not something which the users will use finally.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I think it's a way for us to test rather than it's not the actual CLI. The CLI will be generated separately and we'll use it separately. So
Oh.
Yeah, I believe that's how it is.
But it's running the this.index.js. Yeah, like it executes the JS and then it passes an argument to it, sort of anyway.
True.
So it links back into like the CLI. That's why I get all that information on selecting stuff.
Yeah.
So
Shall we do something like, shall we put like a console log here
all right,
and find out what it returns?
okay, like
Probably an app name. Probably put a console log for the app name and see,
all right,
and let's pass hyphen hyphen version in the command line and see if we can read that here.
yeah. Sorry, that would be happening. I guess it's probably going to fail here. Yeah, but we could always run that again. Yeah, yeah, it is app.
I see.
Yeah, so let me do that with the other command. Instead of app, let us do dash v. So dash v, yeah, the dash has been stripped away from it.
Has been removed. Okay. Okay. So
So,
what happens if you type dash dash version instead of dash capital V?
oh, I see. Dash version. I guess the dash will be stripped also from it. Yep, the dash is
Oh, it's
stripped.
also capitalized. Okay.
Yeah. So literally, that's what like this does. This like this sort of prepares the command, prepares like the command, like it is a sort of like a validation, and then when all that is done, it passes it to the script.
Right.
Right? Am I? Is that accurate? Because it says slice process of arguments. Uh, so argument is an array. It slices it into two separate portions. Separate. Returns a copy of start and end. Yeah, yeah, to the end of the array. So it takes the second, it takes the 0, 1, 2. Takes the third argument
Right.
and slices it all the way to the
I
fourth.
think it removes the spaces. If there are any spaces, it gets removed.
Oh yeah,
Or yeah, we need to run that code separately to find out what's going
yeah,
on there.
yeah. So what next do we want to achieve now? I think we want to understand what is going on here. Is that it?
Hmm.
Um,
Can you keep scrolling? Let's find out what happens with that app name. So
yeah, it creates a yeah, basically executes.
oh, the project is created in a builds directory. So if can you open your builds? Okay, can we run this command once fully?
Mhm,
Instead of version, let's pass like a random app name.
mhm. Let's call it name.
Yeah, you can select yes. So my belief is it will create a new expo project in the builds directory.
This is it right here.
Yeah, there's it. The directory is also called name.
Yeah,
So okay, that makes sense.
I think we're ripe for a break. Um, would you like to confirm that, Rakesh? Um,
Can you repeat that to me? Did you
Oh,
want to?
yeah, like I think we're ripe for like a lunch break.
Oh, I see. Let
Yeah.
me check. Are we supposed to be on a lunch break now?
I
Let
think
me check the schedule.
yeah, please do.
Yeah, we were supposed to be at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. So
We are a
what?
bit late. We have gone past our lunch schedule by 15 minutes.
Mhm.
I don't mind taking a small break for lunch, and let's come back and figure this out.
All right. Yeah. Same here.
And